Just turn her over. All right, put her hands on the back.
Yep. Nope, it don't matter. Nope.
Get back or you're going to jail. You can record all you want, but we're not playing this game.
So you just assaulted me, right? She's screaming too. She's screaming too. Yo, why is she screaming? Like, let me come in and see.
They wanted to make sure that she was not being abused. They weren't trying to stop an arrest. And if you listen closely, there's an officer, and I think the spirit behind what he's saying is you're being too rough. He keeps saying, just put her hands behind the back. Put her hands behind the back. It's almost as if he's trying to remind them that you can do this professionally. You don't have to do all of these other things you're doing. Put up the picture full mass. This is a hell of a story. 25-year-old Daysheion Renee Ponds. Ms. Ponds, a Kansas City, Missouri woman, says she has now suffered a concussion. She has suffered memory loss. She has a swollen eye. She has a bruised face. Several off-duty Kansas City police officers, did you hear what I said? Off-duty Kansas City police officers decided to wrestle her to the ground during an arrest at the Power and Light District. This was on January 28th. Ms. Ponds was with a cousin and his girlfriend watching the AFC Championship game before the Kansas City Chiefs, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens. This was about 8 p.m. when she had an argument with a bartender about her bill, and the off-duty cops were summoned about the bill. Cell phone video recorded by a bystander shows several Kansas City Police Department officers pulling Ponds toward a security office as she is handcuffed and screaming. In the video, an officer is seen grappling with Ponds and forcing her head and face into the ground while she calls for help. A second officer places his knee on the back of Ponds' leg to prevent her from moving. In the video, one of the officers is heard yelling at Ponds, quote, "If you act like an animal, we're going to treat you like an animal," end quote. Another officer curses and threatens to arrest the person who recorded that statement. The video shows Ms. Pond being taken out of view into the security office as the person recording the video loudly protests and bangs on the door. In the interview Tuesday, Ms. Pond said the treatment she received was unfair. Quote, "I'm 5'2", and I'm under 150 pounds, Ms. Pond said. "I was no threat. I couldn't have hurt them in any way. And the whole time that they were hitting on me and beating on me, I was in handcuffs, so I couldn't have done anything extreme to them." And for those of you who say, well, I don't believe that happened. Well, here's the thing. They took her into a private room. You understand? See, the police could be well covered here if they did not take her into a private room, handcuffed. Details of the argument with the bartender, some of the background. She wasn't able to buy any drinks using the debit card on her phone after realizing that the phone had died. She had an argument with the bartender who said she did not pay for an alcoholic drink. Ms. Pond said she was charged for the drink that she did not order or even receive. She also said she recalled giving the bartender her debit card and that it was declined when he tried to charge her. She said some details of the incident remain unclear because she has suffered memory loss as a result of the injuries. What were the charges? As a result of the arrest, Ms. Ponds received municipal citations for disorderly conduct, larceny, and assault. These are city charges, okay? City. The city charges allege Ms. Ponds yelled and screamed obscenities at the manager inside of a crowded bar, jumped over the bar and grabbed her credit card back. The charges accused Ms. Ponds of intentionally stealing a drink, kicking a police officer on the left side of his head, and biting him on his inner thigh. Ms. Ponds doesn't remember being placed in a police holding cell and is unsure how she got there. She recalled being hysterical. The handcuffs officers placed on her wrists and ankles were too tight and left her bruised, swollen, and with scratches. Ms. Ponds' mother and another relative paid her bond to have her released from police custody. But the events of the evening left her traumatized, she said. Ms. Ponds has hired an attorney. She is scheduled to appear in court on these city charges, March 28th. Captain Jacob Bacchini, KCPD spokesman, when asked about the arrest and video, said officers and security guards were called to the disturbance and that taking the arrested person to the security office was, quote, usual protocol. Other details of the arrest are not public record at this time due to the ongoing investigation. Bacchini also went on to say bystanders cannot legally, now remember now, this is what the spokesperson is saying. They cannot legally be restricted from filming police. They cannot legally. So that means that when the cop restricted the individual, he broke the law. Did anybody put him in handcuffs? Did they take him into a private security room? Did they rough him up? Let's put the picture back up. This is the cop that, according to the spokesperson, broke the law. They're not allowed to restrict anyone from filming, but he says the law does not allow a person recording to get so close they interfere. The person wasn't interfering with a damn thing. All right, interfering with what they were doing in secret, trying to make sure transparency was available. Officers are well within their right to advise a citizen to cease their actions if they are creating an interference. That's not what he did. He assaulted the guy, as you see and hear, and then he decided to back the guy up. He didn't say, stop interfering. Let's put her up. So the National Police Accountability Project, we got Lauren Bonds, executive director, said the man recording the incident appears to have done so from a safe distance and did not appear to be interfering. Based on the video, she said the man was no closer than the other bystanders. What was the difference? He was recording. All right? All right, we'll bring you updates as the story develops. Senator, thoughts here?
Yeah, they were upset that he was recording. He was at a safe distance. He was very respectful. Now, what happened at the bar, then call the police, have her arrested and let a judge figure it out. But to have all of those officers converge on her like that is problematic. Also, when you have a police department that has a history of, they have lots of complaints that are based in some anti-blackness claims, then you ought to do things a little differently. Just because it may be standard protocol to take somebody in the security office, she was absolutely hysterical. She was probably just totally scared, and who could blame her for being scared? Doc, they should have handled this a different way, especially since you have a transparency and accountability problem. Now, if people were going to converge on the officers, I could understand why they might want to move it away so that other people don't kind of like jump in. But that was not the case here. They should have kept this out in the open so there could be no claims about what they did and what they did not do behind the scenes. It's called accountability and transparency and building a relationship. For whatever she is accused of doing, let's say, just say for the sake of argument, she didn't pay for the drink. Then let's just go ahead and argue that out in court. But under no circumstances should she have been roughed up like that and treated like that. And certainly under no circumstances should a law enforcement officer say to her, if you want to act like an animal, we're going to treat you like an animal. That is definitely code for anti-Black racism. Yep. They need some cultural competency. I know you and I talk about training all the time. Training can't solve everything, but my God, some cultural competency that you don't say that to anybody, but you especially don't say that to Black people, given the history between law enforcement and the Black community in these United States of America.
That's right. And he said it in front of everybody. And I'll go a step further. All right, let's say the young lady did not, I'm just being hypothetical.
Yeah.
She did not pay for a drink. Okay, ban her from the property. Say you cannot come back here. Or perhaps give her the opportunity to pay for it at a later time. You know, people still do that sometimes when there's an honest mistake that has happened. And then think about the money that the city has to pay to prosecute somebody for a $5 drink.
That's right.
It's insane. The manpower, the money, the judiciary, et cetera, has to now start working because of a $5 drink.